Abike right here with us, Nasukwa James. Moving straight to our next conversation. A nation's strength is reflected in how it cares for those who defend it. At the 2025 Chief of Army Staff Annual Conference, President Bola Tinubu reaffirmed the federal government's full commitment to the modernization and welfare of the Nigerian Army. Represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, the President pledged continued support for the armed forces to enable them to effectively discharge their constitutional duties. He also paid tribute to serving and retired senior military officers, noting that their sacrifices, leadership, and institutional memory remain central to the Army's resilience and fighting spirit. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Waidi Shaibu, said, as the Army remains at the forefront of the efforts to combat terrorism, insurgency, banditry, and other forms of criminality, it is becoming a more professional, adaptive, and technology-driven force. Okay, we have this report, compiled by Ivy Kano.
Top military leadership, intelligence officials, invited diplomatic representatives, security experts, and strategic policymakers are here to deliberate on emerging security challenges confronting the nation. The Chief of Army Staff says the evolving nature of terrorism highlights how modern threats transcend borders, ideologies, and traditional battlefields. According to him, while military action remains a critical pillar of national security, sustainable peace requires a balanced approach.
We will continue to leverage on higher strategic guidance to gain greater clarity and cohesion in countering emerging threats, deepening joint operations with our sister services, and enhancing interoperational collaboration.
The Minister of Defense said it was time to review and re-strategize by tapping into the knowledge of both retired and serving officers.
I urge the Chief of Army Staff and all senior commanders to ensure that the recommendations of this conference translate into concrete operational actions. Strategic discussions must lead to measurable tactical outcomes through improved leadership, enhanced coordination, and sustained pressure on all forms of threats to national security.
The host, Governor Babajide, highlighted the importance of internal security for economic growth and urban stability.
History has consistently shown that security is a fundamental prerequisite for national development, and the Nigerian Army remains one of the most critical instruments through which nations project stability, authority, and confidence.
President Bola Tinubu, while appreciating the sacrifices made in defense of Nigeria's sovereignty and unity, called for renewed commitment to safeguarding national security while strengthening diplomatic ties to address the root cause of terrorism.
The Nigerian Army has always risen to the challenge of the nation, and this administration will continue to provide full support to ensure that you fulfill your constitutional mandate of safeguarding our territorial integrity. Since assuming the mantle of leadership, we have followed closely the impressive progress being made in transforming the Nigerian Army into a professional, adaptable, and resilient force capable of operating decisively within a joint and multi-agency environment. I commend the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Waidi Shaibu, and all officers and soldiers for the clarity of vision and sense of purpose with which you continue to lead and serve.
The conference also reaffirmed the armed forces' commitment to adapting to emerging threats through modernization, joint operations, and strategic foresight, while remaining aligned with national and international legal frameworks. Ivy Kano, TVC News, Lagos.
In beautiful report by Ivy Kano. Now the federal government is pledging, full support for army modernization. Your reaction to this story?
Yes, I'm very happy with what I saw today. The VP recognizes that there's no nation that can achieve greatness without security. And he affirmed that the Nigerian Army has always listened to the nation's call. He vowed that the nation will continue to support the Army in the area of modernization and operational readiness, as well as welfare of troops. The Chief of Army Staff, who is having his first annual conference since his appointment on the 24th of October, also outlined his own vision, his plan for the Army, placing significant accent on troops' morale, troops' welfare, morale, family support for officers and soldiers, subsidized home ownership, you know, under the Army's affordable housing scheme, free welfare flights. You know, troops, when they've been in an operational area for so long, they become homesick. So the Chief of Army Staff is saying that they will make free air tickets available for these troops to be able to travel to see their families and then come back. They will come back with renewed energy. A lot of the anger that soldiers show unnecessarily is because some of them had been in a particular location for too long. They sometimes turn their guns against one another. Even in the US during the Gulf War, it happened because troops have stayed for too long at a location. They become extremely homesick. So I'm happy that this Chief of Army Staff is looking in that direction. And the Chief of Defense, the Minister of Defense says, see, we are going to focus on unity, working together. Troops across the different services should be ready to work together because it's important. That synergy will enable us to defeat the enemy. Today, I was very happy that they honored the former Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taurid Abiodun Lagbaja. The wife was in attendance, and there was a short clip that reduced me to tears.
Oh dear.
And there were many people in that hall who were also shedding tears, especially the moment the president made him Chief of Army Staff. He took his salute, and then the president said, salute the vice president. And then he saluted the vice president, and then proceeded to salute his wife.
Yeah.
They then hugged. It was at that point that my dam of tears broke.
Oh dear.
I just didn't, in a long time I hadn't been that emotional. And I saw that around me, many of those soldiers are seen as cold people, but they are human beings.
Absolutely.
You know? And those soldiers were also shedding tears, even the very senior ones. But Lagbaja's wife was calm throughout. You can see her. She controlled her emotions. And right there we saw some of the beneficiaries of the, what's it called, the scheme that the Army designed for soldiers that were lost in battle.
Yes.
Saw their wives come out, even their little kids.
Oh dear.
At that point, I realized the sacrifice that soldiers make for us. Many people abuse our military. They say all sorts of nonsense. They don't appreciate the extent of sacrifice that these guys make. Some have lost their limbs. Some have become paralyzed. Some have become handicapped for life. Some have stepped on IEDs, you know. And they are in hospital, bedridden. We need to spare a thought for our soldiers.
Absolutely.
We need to pray for them, pray for their families, especially those of them that have left loved ones behind. So this was a very good outing for the Chief of Army Staff. And I believe that they will be ready to work together. I saw a lot of former generals. General Kenny at 86 was in attendance today. 86-year-old man.
Wow.
The vice president honored him. He told him to stand up. General Omar Sanda Ikewachukwu, you know, a man with an Igbo father and an Hausa Fulani mother, was also in attendance at 84 years. So it shows that the military, the army is united, and even their seniors who have left the scene, they remain proud to be associated with the Nigerian Army in its current state. So to see all of those people in attendance, General Farouk, Buratai, I was really happy to see them, and that's why their experience is still necessary. They can still impart knowledge to the younger officers. They are still in position to contribute tremendously to the security of our nation. So kudos to the Chief of Army Staff and everyone who put this together.
Talking about Lieutenant General Shaibu's, his leadership vision, but what can be done, to ensure continuity of this vision called the Nigerian Army?
Well, I think this is one of the things that can be done. Consistent, conferences like this where speakers will come and share their thoughts and ideas. I know one of the things that they will also discuss will be to review what they currently have in terms of their operations. Because right now we are fighting both asymmetric as well as the conventional war. And so they will be looking at all those things, to see how Nigeria can deal with, terrorism at all fronts. And looking and introducing technology, because security now is technologically driven. So I know that that will be part of the things that we'll also discuss. BKO said something about the respect and regard for our armed forces. And I'm very happy that at least we now have something that every military man who is traveling after a long time fighting for the country, when he's coming, he will not be thinking of how he's going to buy tickets. At least somebody down the Nigeria will take that, responsibility and he will come home safely to come and see his family or our family.
It goes a long way.
It goes a long way. And then there's another thing that I think Nigeria and even the federal government should imbibe. When we see officers at the airports, I know over there abroad, before we even board, they'll say, please, if you are a veteran, a serviceman, please come forward. We must begin
before us.
Yeah, we must begin to respect them like that.
Yes.
Because without them, we can't sleep.
Absolutely. Apart from what we do for them January 15, where we honor, I think we should do more.
Do more. Because that would even make them happy to know that we care for them.
Care about them.
Because every time you go on social media, you see people posting things, they've attacked.
They are happy to see, they're happy to post pictures of soldiers
killed. They are killed.
You can imagine the people even literally celebrating the shooting of a general. Meanwhile, it's AI-generated video. Any sensible person should know that that was AI-generated. How do you shoot a man and his cap was still intact on his head? And you're happy to post it and show that General Oba, this was how General Oba was killed. Somebody, AK-47, fired at somebody, no blood.
It's sad.
And you are sharing it.
Sharing, retweeting.
That's somebody's husband. I mean, somebody's husband.
Yes.
Somebody's father. And the doctrine of the army does not say a commander should go with his troops to the war front. It's just a sense of industry that makes some of them to go out of their way to say, okay, let me lead from the front.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not as if they taught them at NDA that, even if you are a general, you must go to the war front with your troops. No. Nobody taught them that at NDA. So Norman Schwarzkopf didn't go to the front line in Iraq. And he got victory.
All right,